Well, welcome to the Two Perspective Show with me, Reverend Lee Wolak and Dr. Niranjan Seshadri. And we're here to talk to you about what's happening in the world right now, this whole idea of COVID-19 and what it means to us, and how do we deal with that on a daily basis? How do we deal with that in a moment basis? And we're going to offer you some practical tips. And these tips are going to be how to live your life. And so I think I'm going to turn it over to Niranjan first as he discusses the physical aspects, the what can we do physically with our actions to minimize the impact to us with this virus. Niranjan?
So when I look at the safety aspect, keeping us safe, keeping the community safe, the safety comes in concentric circles. The outermost circle is the broader community. So we use things like social distancing, shelter in place to keep people physically apart from each other. So there is no chance for the virus to propagate from person to person. So when we sneeze, we send out a plume of droplets that can extend about 3 feet in front of us. So the safety margin is about twice that, which is 6 feet. So that's the recommended distance we keep away from other people. And then we come to the inner aspect of our being, which is how we keep our mind. As we know, stress plays a very important part in the immune response. The immunity decreases when the stress levels go up. And when the stress levels come down and we're nice, calm, and relaxed, the immunity has a chance to build itself and protect us against illnesses. The important thing for people to know is how do we keep our minds occupied? How do we keep our minds stress-free? How do we keep our minds from wandering from here to there? And how do we keep our minds from adapting and accepting this shelter-in-place social isolation? To me, I think that's the bigger challenge. The physical aspects, keeping our dwellings clean, using hand sanitizers, wipes, and so on to clean our surroundings. That's the easy part. The harder part is dealing with our own mind, coming face to face with the mind that we've pushed aside through distractions and suppression and repression of our thoughts and desires.
So let me piggyback on that. And let me just say this. What I'm doing is I've increased my meditation practice. I'm literally meditating 3 times a day, sometimes 4 times a day, because I want to quiet my mind. Because I truly understand that when the mind is clear and stress is released, the body can do miraculous things. And so in that state, I'm going to try to get my body into homeostasis so the disease doesn't stand a chance with me. The second thing that I'm looking at is I am using this time to how do I become a better Lee? How do I become the Lee that I desire to be? So I want to use my time to proactively create a greater life. I don't want to put my time in on worrying about anything. I'm saying, how can I be a better minister? How can I serve more people? How can I connect with people now? What way can I be of greater service to the world? How can I have a better relationship with my wife and my sons? To give you an idea, I'm confined here, and my son and my granddaughter are up in Denver. And it was Claire's 8th birthday last week. You know what we did? We had a birthday party online. And I found, my God, it was such a great way to connect. And it takes your mind off of all the BS that the media is hitting you with, all this fear. And that's really the key thing here, is we've got to get our minds off fear. And the way we get our minds off fear is to put our minds into things that juice us, that enliven us. And until we do that, we're leaving our mind open to receive the outside force, and we will have fear.
Your point is well taken about increasing your meditation, increasing your introspective ability to become a better person. All these point towards creating a structure around a positive idea, a better you, a better person, a better world. And if you don't have the mind tightly wound around a specific idea, let's say a positive idea like what you mentioned, then the mind tends to wander off in different directions. what fuels the mind is fear. Fear makes the mind go places that you would never imagine that you would find yourself in. So reining in that fear is probably the first thing we ought to do. And we can do that by pushing aside fear, suppressing it, convincing ourselves that it's not the right way to think or be within. But that's easier said than done. Probably a more practical approach would be to create a structure around your day. So, for instance, if there's a lockdown for the next 3 weeks, create a schedule for the week, create a schedule for the day, create a schedule for the hour, and try to hold yourself to that schedule as far as you can, or at least be aware of what you were supposed to be doing at any particular time. It could be anything. It could be a creative pursuit. It could be um, writing, reading, being with family via FaceTime, spending time with others, maintaining the concept of social distancing. It could be anything, anything that enriches you. So, activities that enrich you, if you create a structure and keep the mind around that structure, and, and this lockdown period could be the best thing that ever happened to us in terms of becoming a better person, becoming a better human being. And these gifts will last us a lifetime.
Let's you and I really get practical about this. So I'm going to tell you what my day looks like. This way the people out there can understand what a schedule looks like. When I wake up in the morning probably about 4 o'clock, 4:30, just my way. And I get up and I do my own spiritual work. But at 5:30, my wife wakes up, she comes downstairs, we meditate for 45 minutes. After we meditate, we go upstairs, we have about a half-hour conversation. And then I come back downstairs and I lead a guided meditation for people in my community around the world. After I do that, I go I go upstairs and I make my breakfast. I eat a healthy breakfast. Then I come back downstairs and I'm doing social media. I'm doing a Facebook Live 5 days a week. After that, I do some reading. I do some writing. I do various things where I'm connecting with people. I'm exercising every day. And then later in the afternoon, I'm doing another meditation. So I'm finding ways that every day I've got a schedule of something I look forward to that takes my mind off the disease. And even when I see things about the disease, I don't get an emotion about it. Oh, I'm just observing it because I'm wrapped up in my own life. And when I'm wrapped up in my own life, nothing gets in. So Niranjan, why don't you share with us, what does your typical day right now look like?
Good morning. I do get up early and I spend some time doing inner reflection, enjoying that quiet mental space. And in that quiet time, I plan out my day. And it usually involves some type of writing activity because that's my passion. I like to write. And I've started writing a novel which I hope to finish by the end of the month. And that's my big goal for this period of lockdown and shelter at home.
What's really interesting, you don't know Niranjan like I know Niranjan, but when Niranjan starts writing, that's his passion. There's nothing this man loves better than that. Niranjan's got 14 or 15 poetry books out there, and now he's expanding into the novel. Now, I want you to know I'm holding Niranjan accountable on this novel because it's about an event that he and I participated in June of 2013. And I think it's going to be a bestseller. And what I love is that Niranjan and I have different ways of being in the world. And I think that's real important for everyone to understand. He's turned on by writing poetry. He's turned on by sharing his word through his writing, where you can tell I'm turned on by socially connecting with people. One of us is not more right than the other, but each of us is following our bliss. And I think that's the key for you. If you go out there and you're looking at your life, what's your bliss? And create your day and follow your bliss to the best of your ability. I also want to say this. As you get that opportunity right now, this is the time to notice what you're noticing. The things that you had going on before you were shelter in place, are you really missing any of them? And what are the things about being in shelter in place that you're really liking? Because you may find that this is a time of clarity where you get to see what it is you truly love in the world and not what you blindly accepted as a part of your life. I think clarity right now is something that is critical that we achieve because the world will never go back to the way it was.
I think the key message about what we can do to best serve our mind and our own mental peace is expressing what is true to our nature, what is deep within us. And this is a perfect opportunity where the world around us is quiet. There is no work, there's no hustle, there's no bustle, there are no people, there are no distractions. Nobody's calling you to go here or there. That's probably the best time. And maybe this is the only time we get in our lifetimes where we can spend 2 or 3 weeks digging deep within ourselves, understanding what makes us tick, what makes us happy. And the best way to do that is to express ourselves fully.
When we embrace that inner being, there is no greater act of self-love in the world. Because so much of our lives, we've literally done what our parents wanted us to do, what society has wanted us to do. And for the first time, we can get to sit back and say, what is it that I want to create? What gifts do I want to expand and bring to the world? That's why I think this is one of the most exciting times that we can possibly have. It's a time to learn how to better self-love. One of the things that I've been sharing with my community over and over again is I've been inviting them to buy the book, The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. And this is a book that teaches you how to self-love. And I've asked the people to devour this book and to understand that they now have the ability to look at love in a way that they've never looked at it before, and now to embrace it so that when they go back out into the world, when this is over, they go out as a whole new self-created expression of perfect love. And man, if you do that, think about the rest of your life, how great it's going to be. So we've given you some perspective. We've not given you all of the perspective right now, but what we want to do is Niranjan and I would like to invite you in the comments section on the video on YouTube, write down your questions. What ideas would you like us to explore on? We could go on for hours and hours and hours, but that's not going to serve you right now. Our idea is to keep this video focused, to keep it within a reasonable time frame, probably around 20 minutes. And then let's have an interaction here between you and I and Niranjan. And so that together we can form a plan that will benefit each of us. Niranjan and I can benefit from you like you can benefit from us. So I want to invite you to put your comments down below. Let us know what you're thinking, and we're going to address that in our next video. So I want to wish you the very best, but most of all, create your schedule. Focus on what you truly desire and start becoming the man or the woman that's living their dream. Until we see you in the next video, have a great day.